Welcome back. Eli Arnold is a Portland police officer working on the Central Bike Squad, and he's running for city council in District 4. District 4 includes the Central City, northwest Portland all the way to Linnton, and into Sellwood in southeast Portland. An Army veteran, Arnold's military experience includes Blackhawk helicopter pilot. He served in Afghanistan and Germany. Eli Arnold, welcome to Eye on Northwest Politics.
Thank you.
We've got 30 candidates running for 3 city council positions in each district. So in District 4, a total of 12 city councilors overall elected by ranked choice voting. It's a whole brand new system. So what do you think about going into this with a brand new form of government in the city of Portland?
I think it's a really important time, and it's a big change all at once. And yeah, it's a time that we need to be really careful to show stability. There's going to be a lot of people paying attention to see if we stumble or if we put something good together here.
How does your experience as a police officer and in the military, how did that influence your decision to run for office?
Well, I think the common theme with all of that is being a leader in difficult situations and trying to impose some sort of like calm and safety when things are tough. And really, working as a police officer has just given me this very up-close experience with a lot of things we struggle with homelessness and addiction and mental health and public safety. And so, 7 years of being in homeless camps every day and dealing with this, at some point, I just felt like I wasn't hearing an accurate description of the problems, and we can't treat the illness without a good diagnosis, and so I had to get involved.
Well, you mentioned the issues that the city of Portland is dealing with. What are some of your solutions? Let's start with homelessness.
I think we've never actually treated it with urgency. So we spent a lot of money, a lot of words, and we've really wanted to deal with the long-term issues, the systemic problems, like housing. But there are acute problems, like this week I've dealt with a woman who has been camped out in front of a school, and there's an addiction and a mental health component going on. And that needs managing. Even if we can't solve homelessness in this moment, we can manage the impacts. And the businesses, the school, the residents, and the person suffering, they all need help. And so real urgency, we've got to inject into this.
We have mentioned the fact that the Multnomah County Deflection Center is going to open up on Monday, we hope. Here's what Portland Police Chief Bob Day had to say about it.
If we are constantly taking the same people into custody, even if they are participating in the deflection process, that's not going to be sustainable, and we may have to go ahead and take them to jail.
Basically, he's saying if we just keep it as a revolving door and we keep taking the same people to the deflection centers, then at some point we're just going to have to take those people to jail. So what do you think about the deflection center concept and how police are going to have to deal with that?
When somebody's suffering from, say, a fentanyl addiction on the sidewalk, and really the people who are going to be stopped for this a lot are people who are in that sort of late stage extreme addiction, they need a push. Your life expectancy at that point when you're by the Central Library on the sidewalk is not long. And so my hope is that we are successful at getting people the help they need. My worry is that we may not be willing to get uncomfortable and push hard enough. And getting off of fentanyl's got to be terribly difficult. So I worry that we're not pushing hard enough to get people into treatment under this model, and I also worry about concentrating the problem in a particular neighborhood with this deflection center. But we're going to see, and I've been involved in doing deflection so far, and so I expect to have some live data shortly.
Do you see the deflection center as maybe a little bit of triage as well, trying to figure out what people actually need and getting them to those resources?
I mean, ideally that's what it is. And I know Shannon mentioned, we are missing places to get these people. When somebody says they're ready for help, we should be able to whisk that person away and get them help. And we don't have that back end. But on the other end, I see people who just simply can't take action on their own behalf. And I think that's a real missing piece here.
One thing that's also been missing is a cohesive relationship between the city of Portland, the Portland City Council, the mayor, and Multnomah County. the Multnomah County Commission. It seems even with common problems, there's conflict over how to solve those problems and work together to get it done. How do you see that relationship, and what do you think as a city councilor you could do about it?
I mean, I think we all need to be a team. And, you know, in the Army, they threw you together with a bunch of people. That's what voters are about to do. And those are the people you spend your life with for that period where you're assigned. And so there's an issue right now up near St. Mary's Academy where there's a drug addiction problem. There's a needle handout that's happening every week, and it's caused a lot of conflict. Vadim Mazirski, who's running for county, he and I went down there and spent a night watching, you know, and talking with neighbors. And I think it's going to be about that, about let's get together and go to the problem and just talk and figure out a way to move forward.
You're on the Portland Police Bureau, and the Bureau overall, staffing is way below what it should be for a city this size. What do you think we should do, and you as a city councilor, if you get elected, about that? I mean, in terms of either funding or attention or reorganization even of some of the Bureau responsibilities?
Yeah, we are desperately short, and you can see the system get overwhelmed in real time, and it's tragic. People need to know that if they have an emergency, that somebody will come help them, and seeing that breakdown is really difficult. So I think the first thing we need to do is signal where we're headed and what our goals are, so sort of committing to a ratio of population to police officers is a good way to signal that intent and let potential candidates know, you know, yes, invest your time and your family's lives here, that we're on this path. It's going to be slow work. It's going to take time. It took a long time from 1995 to now to get down to this staffing. So it's going to take a while, and I think in the short run, the best thing we can actually do is manage the sort of chaos around street camping, because that is sucking up such a huge percentage of capacity, and that's where we free something up in the short run.
Only got about 10 seconds here, but I just want to get a quick answer here. Can Portland come back?
Oh, absolutely. I'm very optimistic. All the fundamentals are still here. You know, we still got the rivers and the trees and the people, and yeah, we've got all the things we need. We just need to, you know, put our house in order a little bit.
Eli Arnold, thank you very much for being on Eye on Northwest Politics.
Thank you very much.